All right, this is Jim Hamilton of Core Resonance, and I want to thank you for being here. I've just completed an article called, what do I call my articles? What is this one called? It's called Ancient Guidance and Prosperity, Lining Up with What's True. It's an interesting article. I've been doing a lot of work around the concept of prosperity lately. And the idea is that prosperity is a product of the quality of your connection. And when I say the quality of your connection, everything in nature is plugged into one commonality. Some people call it God. I call it innate intelligence. And everything shares one common sense of order. The humans seem to be out of sync with this, and that's why we're so dysfunctional, and I would suggest we are dysfunctional as a species, and we have a lot to learn. The point of the article is that there are ancient texts, and I'll say going back 8,000 years, that indicate that guidance has always been available to us if but we would pay attention. This article is interesting because I use a number of what you would call religious terms, though the article is not religious. Let's just leave it at that. It's not a religious article, but it used some of the terms I use include the Ten Commandments. I talk about Adam and Eve a little bit. I talk about the Garden of Eden a little bit. I talk about the Book of the Dead, the Egyptian Book of the Dead, chapter 125. That's an 8,000-year-old document in hieroglyphics. That all, by the way, all it did was degrade as copies were made and copies were made, and eventually copies were made on paper. And the highest quality hieroglyphics, the highest quality translation of the Book of the Dead, which had a number of other titles depending on how you translated it, the oldest ones were the highest quality. It's curious. There's an excerpt from Visionaries Thrive in All Times in this article. I mention Abraham-Hicks Publishing and Esther Hicks. Interestingly enough, forgiveness is an ancient concept that's talked about in the Old Testament. It's talked about in these ancient texts. The Aramaic definition of sin is covered in this article. Law of attraction. And one of the commandments in particular, which I'm not going to, you're going to have to read the article, but and another concept, reality creating, is covered in this article, polarity and resistance. And so what I want to do is welcome you to my new video interpretations and presentations. I'm actually hoping to offer an audio of my articles coming up, an audio version, and they'll be read by software. So we're going to look to see how that works, but I've heard that it's an excellent way to go. This particular presentation, it's going to take you to my blog site. I would appreciate if you would comment. I'm going to run it through Facebook. I'm still learning how to do that. And likes and all those kinds of things would be very helpful. It's nice to say hello to you, and there's a lot going on, and thank you for your attention. Peace. Namaste.